What's going on, guys? It's Smudgy here. I have got the RAAL MG 2 gold in about 2.5 hours. It was particularly tricky just because everyone's using an LMG at the moment, just kind of holding down the right trigger trying to unlock it. It's just one of those things that'll die down as the days go past, that is for sure. As usual, we're going to run through the setup that I used for different challenges, what game mode I would recommend, and then we'll go through the challenges themselves, highlight any snags you might find, you might run into. So let's just jump straight into it with the ideal setup, let's call it. Bit of a different one from what I probably usually recommend. I did put on a muzzle brake as soon as I could because the recoil can have a bit of a kick on it, especially for long shots, so it's something to bear in mind as such. I didn't actually rock any of the barrels until I unlocked the final one for the ADS speed, and this thing can feel like it's taking quite some time to scope in. I did put the VLK on it so I could start working on long shots pretty much as soon as I could. I actually rocked, this is entirely different to what I usually do, FMJ on this, just because it felt like I was at times, especially on Shoot House, which you might have guessed is one of the modes I'm going to recommend, kind of just wounding people even in hardcore. This meant that if they duck behind either of the walls down that kind of main corridor, you could shoot through the wall pretty easily and kill them that way, which was definitely sped up the process. And then this is actually the ideal underbarrel. You don't actually unlock it for a long time, so I was using the PMC grip. I did change it up a little bit when it came to like Hipfires, but we'll get to that when we get to the actual camo challenge. And if you have not already guessed, I am going to recommend hardcore shoot the ship. As you can see, this is what I've been playing all night, and it's pretty tough out there. There's a lot of LMGs just spraying about, but it is what it is. Let's jump into the actual camos. So first up is kill 525 enemies. Sounds like a hell of a lot, it's really not. You're going to have to kill more than this just to complete the challenges, so don't worry about it too much. If you can't kill people, I probably can't help you. I say this in literally every single gold gun guide. And then you have 75 headshots. Didn't struggle too much with these either. They come very naturally with the camo grind, I guess you could say. You're going to pick a lot of them up with Hipfires and with Longshots, so almost kind of like the two polar opposites. Longshots, obviously, people will often head glitch, as you will also be head glitching, especially on Shoot House. So you're only going to be able to shoot them in their head unless you use FMJ to shoot them through the wall. So they will come fairly naturally. All the usual rules apply if you are struggling. You know, take that extra moment to drag your aim up. It's always better to shoot above their head if you are trying to get headshots, and be able to drag your aim, you know, down rather than starting at the chest, especially in hardcore where you're going to kill them in 1 or 2 shots. If it's an AFK player, shoot them in the head. If it's a player not paying attention, shoot them in the head. If you've managed to flank the entire team, shoot them all in the head. All that sort of common sense stuff that I think goes out the window when you're getting really irate that you can't get those last few headshots. And then we have 65, not 75, sorry, kills while crouching. I forgot that this existed, I can't lie. Obviously you'll pick them up naturally. You can combine this though with mounted kills, and long shots go quite nicely with that. If you make sure you are crouched before you press the button to mount on a wall, it will also count as a crouch kill. So you can double up on things there, it speeds the process up. I actually finished my mounted kills before my crouch kills. It's a bit out of practice on Modern Warfare camo grinds, and I fumbled the bag a little bit on that one. It's not too bad. Obviously if you are struggling, make a mental note to just crouch everywhere you go. It will come pretty naturally, you shouldn't have too many issues with it. And then you have 45 Hipfire kills. Shipment is your best bet for this, just map surf, lobby surf. Keep backing out until you get shipment. Alternatively, you can just work on other camos, and then when you get shipment, just solely work on Hipfires. And for the Hipfires, I prioritised movement speed over absolutely everything, because this gun's a heavy old guy. So I had 2 different class setups, my kind of standard longer range one, and then my snappy, or as snappy as I can make this damn gun, Hipfire one. And for that, just lie round corners in this kind of like that centre kind of cross area of shipment, and people just run at you. You know, you'll Hipfire naturally in shipment as well as people kind of come sprinting around the map. Just one of those things. I did have to focus on it. I actually focus on not holding down the left trigger to aim in. So that's really the only advice I can give you. You gotta play a bit ratty, play a bit little bit scummy if you are struggling. Like I said, people are just holding down triggers of like 200 round PKMs at the moment, so it can be a bit tricky. And then we have 45 long shots, so actually not that many whatsoever. Shoot house is going to be your go-to for this. I think most people know that. Most people are aware of the long shot locations. If not, they're out there on the internet for you to go find. Mount up with crouch as well. You're going to rattle through them pretty quickly. It took me like 2 matches to get them all done. It can be a bit of a struggle getting used to the recoil at first. Definitely make sure you are tapping the trigger, not holding down on it for too long. It shouldn't take you too long to do, especially with FMJ. It's a really nice added bonus. Just to be able to finish an enemy off that's like one shot through a wall. Speeds up the process. You pick up, you know, an extra 5 kills here and there. Really does make things run quite smoothly. And then we do have 45 kills while mounted. Shoot house, pretty easy to do this in, you know, mount up on any of the walls. If you're in shipment, however, I highly recommend taking deployable cover in there with you. And I say that because you can obviously put it down for actual cover, but also it means it gives you something to mount on that you can decide the angles that you choose. It's a bit scummy, a bit rassy, but I figured with everyone else using LMGs and just, you know, unloading 200 bullets into me for 10 minutes at a time, that I could stoop to their level. So we put a few deployable covers down. You'll see it in some of the footage that's been playing, and just mount up on that. It's a pretty easy way to rack up kills. This didn't take me too long as well. It's it's not the morally most correct way to do it, but it's a quick way to do it, and that's what we're here for. And then we have 180 kills while your gun is using all attachments. The only way I can tell you to speed this up is make sure your gun is using all attachments, because I must have played like 2 games where I'd been messing around with a few attachments. I only had 4 equipped and it really kind of pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie. So make sure you got all attachments. It's just gonna be one of those things you're gonna have to churn your way through. You know, gauge the lobby. Is it a super aggressive lobby, in which case you might want to sit back and just let them come to you? Is it a really passive lobby, in which case you're going to have to get aggressive to kind of speed up the process? It's just one of the things you're going to have to kind of work on by feel. And then you have 30 double kills, which will come as you're doing the all attachment kills. It's just kind of, they work hand in hand just because of how many kills you need with all attachments. It's just one of those things. Yeah, double kills, especially on something like shipment, should not take you long whatsoever. People like to hold hands in really weird areas of the map, so you should pick them up fairly easily. And then you have 75 kills while your gun is using no attachment slots. This sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It really is not the most pleasant of challenges. The gun is quite slow firing, very slow moving without any attachments. It's not much better with attachments. The best advice I can give you here is try and get into shipment again. Shoot house is viable, and I did 1 round of shoot house and then 2 rounds of shipment to do this. It's definitely viable, like it's not like overly difficult to do, she says. Maybe I've blocked it from my memory. Was it that bad? It wasn't that bad. It just, after you've got used to using attachments, it's very hard to take them all off. It always is with this challenge, but it is only 75. You should be able to get it done in say 3 to 5 games, especially if, you know, 2 to 4 of those games are shipment, or all 5 of those games are shipment. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, it's a tough one. Slow down your gameplay if you need to. That's totally understandable. You're not going to be outgunning many people with no attachments on this gun, that's for sure. It's just a bit of a crappy challenge. There's no real kind of streamlining of it. You just kind of got to get your head down and do it. And then finally we have 3 enemies without dying 25 times. Shoot house, probably best for this. You can pick many different angles. It stops you kind of repeating angles, and it stops you being predictable, which is the biggest issue you'll run into. You don't want to be predictable unless you're very confident that you can outgun anyone that's popping their head over any head glitch on either of the maps, really. Shipment's pretty good for it because, of course, people spawn right in front of you. You'll get entire teams just pop in front of you. That's easy. Of course, if you go on a 9 kill streak, that counts 3 times towards this challenge, so do bear that in mind. If you're on like a 5 kill streak, do try and stay alive for that 6th kill. It is worth it. It's not too bad. Slow down your play once again if you are struggling. Shoot house is probably easier if you're really struggling with the aggressiveness, but if you're feeling fairly comfortable with the gun, shipment's pretty good for it. Everyone's very focused on keeping that right trigger plastered to the ground to try and get their 5 kills. That they shouldn't pay too much attention to you trying to pick them off. It seems more chaotic than ever tonight shipment, but of course by the time you're watching this it might have all calmed down. So just kind of gauge the lobbies, see how you're doing, and lobby surf if you need to. If you're getting to really tough ones, just back out a few times and almost let it reset the players you're playing with. And that is the last challenge. We have gold on the RAAL MG. Not a bad gun. I'm going to take into Rebirth tomorrow and see what's cracking with it over in Warzone. But as always, if you have any tips that I didn't cover, do put them down in the comments down below for everyone to share. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to find your way back. Hope you all have a good day. I'll see you next time.